Welcome to a yarn. I've got a special guest with me today, Travis Corrie from Aware Group, who is our sponsor for the AFQY Tauranga. And of course, this is the first AFQY Tauranga. This is the first time Aware Group have supported, and this is the first time that we have had Spot the Dog in country, which we might talk about a little bit later. But first of all, as always, if I could welcome Travis on board and to say thank you for supporting AFQY, thank you for supporting AFQY Tauranga, and as always, if we could start with introduce yourself so we can meet the person and we'll talk about the business in a moment.
Sounds great. Thanks a lot, Ryan, for inviting myself and Aware Group along to be on board. It's super exciting for us to be involved. Heard a lot of great things about Few Quiet Yarns and the great events that you put on as well. So we're super stoked to be involved in the first one over at the Mount. It's a great place for it, especially for Labor Weekend as well. So my name is, as you said, Travis Corrie. Got a bit of a slight accent as well, or still have one going, I guess. I came from Canada to New Zealand about 5 years ago, living in Hamilton the whole time, or thereabouts. And the reason I came over here was for my partner. We met over in Canada when she was on her OE. Classic story, and she brought me back to New Zealand, and I've loved it here ever since. So I mean, I've been around pretty much the whole country, which is awesome. I'm pretty proud to be able to say that. Only a couple places I haven't made it to so far. And you know, I brought some Canadian roots over to New Zealand in terms of I played baseball here in Hamilton for the Hamilton Raiders, which is cool. Bit of a sport that I know and I grew up playing. And I also play golf on the weekends. Not very well, but I have a hack. I guess I also, outside of work, I've kind of gone down the path of trying to get to my motorcycle license as well. I took a bit of a basic skills handling course the other day, and proud to say I passed that. Haven't been on a motorbike in years, but bit of personal growth there, I guess, and the plan is to get back on a bike at some stage here in the next the upcoming summer. So
let's get on to the business. A bit of an intro to what impact are you making, and actually there's a lot more to Aware Group than Spot the Dog. He's obviously the prevalent thing. So why don't we leave Spot till last and just have a look at what Aware Group is doing.
95% of what we do probably is under NDA. Which is unfortunate because we want to be able to tell people and mention our customers and the great projects we do for them. But at the same time, it makes our jobs really cool because we get to work with some really innovative people, businesses, and technologies as well that sort of fly under the radar and just make things work. So I mean, these are emerging technologies that we try and stay ahead of the curve on. Things like artificial intelligence, which is quite a blanket statement, but things from computer vision to acoustic or noise detection, machine learning. We're actually looking into things called e-nose or artificial noses. So looking to incorporate scent into artificial intelligence as well. And the amount of use cases and innovative ideas that come out of those technologies and solutions is pretty mind-blowing, actually. And the applications are endless here in New Zealand as well. So in terms of Aware Group as a business, so we just celebrated our 4th birthday last week, which is awesome.
Are you still a baby? I didn't realize you were so
Yeah, we're still quite young. We've had a lot of growth in the last 4 years. I mean, I've been around for about a year now.
Yeah.
But in those 4 years, we've grown to servicing about 14 different countries worldwide, and we've got offices in 3 locations. So here in Hamilton is our headquarters, and most of our staff are here. We've also got an office in Seattle, and that's really for our Microsoft relationship from a corporate side.
Yeah.
And then we've also opened an office earlier this year in Singapore, which was unfortunate timing due to COVID. We had to send the team back home here to New Zealand, but that services the APAC region and also another Microsoft strategic location from a corporate perspective as well. So.
Funny when you say 4 years, I think actually I might have known the team for almost 4 of those 4 years or 3 of those 4 years. It was met them when it was their entry, so probably 3 years or 2 years, but met them when they did their entry for the NZTA hackathon and they came up to Hamilton. Yeah, get on to AFQY. So you're certainly jumping in the deep end as we like to do as Canadian Kiwis and being a sponsor and attendee all at the same time. But
might as well. Yeah. I really want to get the full experience, right, Ryan? So go for it. Yeah, I mean, this is the first time, like you say, that I've been involved, but I mean, I've You've not been quiet on LinkedIn. Even I don't think we connected up until a couple of months ago. Actually, maybe I was just resisting the power of your LinkedIn profile. But no, I mean,
Let's be honest. It can be a bit much. It can be a bit annoying.
I
And
wouldn't say that.
I do apologize for that. Shall we now have a look at what is the coolest thing in tech according to Travis? And this is where I'll bring back the get behind. You know what the reference to that is, don't you?
What's that one, sorry?
You know what the reference to the whistle when they get him behind.
It's not foot trot flats, is it?
Well, almost. It's not actually foot rot flats, but it is the sheepdog. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I went out on a limb there.
Went out on a limb.
Testing my Kiwiana.
So I've kind of jumped the gun, but we know that the coolest thing in tech, it's got to be Spot.
Yes.
So tell us all about Spot. I mean, like we've seen this yellow four-legged creature on various videos on the interweb before you brought the first one into New Zealand. So yeah, give us a rundown, give us the overview, and then let's jump into it.
It's definitely making its rounds on social media, especially LinkedIn at the moment. We've had a Spot robot due to our partnership with Rokos, who is another awesome New Zealand company based in Auckland. They're a robotics platform company. So they've got one and we've got the other. There's two in New Zealand. And Spot, for those who don't know, is the Boston Dynamics, basically robotic dog. It's a mobile payload robot. So basically it's meant to have payloads, which are cameras or detectors or sensors, bolted onto the top or being towed behind it or wherever. And it would then walk around and deploy those payloads or allow the data collection to happen through that payload while it's doing its mission, if you will. So we've had one for about maybe just over a month now. They came out to be commercially available out of Boston Dynamics in the US maybe 2-3 months ago. So yeah, it's pretty fresh. Again, this comes back to we like to keep on the emerging technology trends, and the alignment here is really that, because we're not a hardware company, or we try not to be. A lot of what we do is enabled through hardware like cameras and computer vision or microphones and audio detection. But anyway, so we have had this robot for about a month, and we've been touring it around the country to public sector government agencies as well as large enterprise customers of ours. So, you know, people from New Zealand Defence and police and fire and emergency and civil defence. There's a real scenario there around civil defence and search and rescue for it. But I mean, the amount of use cases and innovation that comes from just having this robotic dog is amazing. And really what we want people to take away from it, for the time being anyway, is that robotics have come such a long way in the last 10 or 15 years. And they're quite robust now. They're not these super fragile, you know, fine-tuned, which they are, but you know, feats of engineering that you can't even use without fear of breaking. So and then, you know, all the use cases are what come back to what we do in terms of being the system integrator, if you will, between the payloads, the computer vision, the e-nose, whatever it might be that you want to put on top of Spot, and then actually enable that use case to happen.
It might be a little bit cheeky of me, but I was thinking, you know, maybe he could be a bit like R2D2 on the on Jabba's barge. That would make me Jabba, of course, but he could, you know, walk around with a drinks tray on his back at AFQY, which might be a bit demeaning compared to doing search and rescue and being able to find and identify, you know, hurt people and pull them out. But just, again, thank you to you and the team, including Spot, Brandon, Jordan, Dave, and everyone else. It's great to have your support and really appreciate it, as does the tech community, who always enjoys getting together for a yarn AFQY. So
absolutely, not a problem. Really looking forward to it. Thank you as well, Ryan, for getting us involved.
Make it sit.